20 spot. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And thank you for the happy birthday. Marcus, I know it was your son's birthday yesterday. Today on the show, thank you again, David, for the super chat. Today on the show, AK Deer is set to announce. I don't think I've seen what time he's going to announce. I think it might be later in the day. Whenever it happens, we'll be live to discuss it, to celebrate it. I feel it's going to be Alabama. Go ahead and put your prediction inside the comment box right now. Type A inside the comment box if you think that AK Deer will roll Tide today. And look, I think there's been a lot of buildup around this, and clearly why. I mean, when you look at this young man's highlight tape, I mean, this guy certainly got it. He's got speed. He's got power. I think he fits into the system really, really well. And I think overall, the selling points to get a player like AK Deer, they're endless. And I think if you're looking at AK Deer, a lot of people will be like, oh, the money's right. I mean, probably, and that's fine. But the selling points at Alabama, specifically for a running back, sky's kind of the limit. And I think it starts with Robert Gillespie, what he's been able to do during his time at Alabama and even before his time at Alabama. Stops at Tennessee and North Carolina. He's turned out some really talented running backs. This young man's got some speed, absolutely. And when you look to that running back room, I would assume that after this season, Jam Miller, goes to the NFL. Then you have Justice Haynes, you have Richard Young, you have Daniel Hill, you have Ken Riley, and right now you still have Turbo Rogers, who's committed to Alabama. Throw in AK Deer. It's a hell of a running back room, and you need to keep that running back room absolutely fed. Jeff, I appreciate you being a fan funder for 7 months. Thank you so much. Eugene, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for being inside the comment box. Same thing with David Grant hitting us up with that 20 spot right from the jump. Southern Red, I see you inside the comment box. Thank you so much. So AK Deer will make his announcement. Ooh, man, he is shifty. Love what he brings to the table. And I think that running back room, it's going to be absolutely utilized this coming season. Again, hat up top from Chris Mobley. I'm not sponsored by any. Actually, I have 0 sponsors. That's something that I'm working on. But I just, as soon as I saw these hats drop, I was like, I need to go get one of those hats. And I have a white one too. And everybody's been asking about even the trucker hat that I wore yesterday. I got that hat at the soup store in here in Tuscaloosa. So if you go to the soup store, and that was the bigger one. That's the one, like deeper on campus. There's a couple of them, but I appreciate you guys. Chris, man, thank you so much for your support right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Okay, so we're talking about AK Deer and the announcement today. We're going to highlight Courtney Morgan, but let's talk a little bit more about AK Deer. And he's going to commit at some point in time today, and it's a new commitment. It would be for Alabama, right? It's taken a little bit of time there, and there's been some decommitments and this and that. Jaden Harmon flipped to Tennessee. Look, he's a good prospect, but nobody is actually like fully committed until they're signed. And I've seen a lot of feedback inside the comment box about you guys talking about you don't care about recruiting because of the fact that NIL has changed the space. I get it. Things are changing rapidly, and all of these programs are continuing to try to adapt or they die. And look, the funds are a big part of it, right? Pay me what you owe me. And we're going to talk about Courtney Morgan getting hooked up recently with a new contract for 3 years. Garrett, I see you inside the comment box as well. More detail, and AK Deer has not committed to Alabama as of yet. I think it's between Alabama and Ole Miss. There's been some predictions that feel that he is committed, that he's going to be committed to Alabama. Remember, he was at the recruiting barbecue. He was committed to Ole Miss at one point in time. And then he did decommit, and now he's, we'll see what happens. Derrick, I see you inside the comment box as well. 155 up in the house. Can we get that super chat goal now to $30? All right, we're at 20 right now. Let's see if we can hit 30, and let's see if we can get some fan funders. Fan funders are basically monthly supporters at $2.99. I appreciate you guys. This is how I get by. This is how I'm a full-time dad, full custody of my kids. This is what I do for my livelihood, so I appreciate it. There's plenty of people that have YouTube channels. Please support them as well, honestly, because they're doing a hell of a job. I've seen some new YouTube channels pop up that cover Alabama football. They're doing a damn, honestly, these guys are good. So please, there's plenty of, you don't have to feel like if you go support another channel, you're not supporting me. It's all good. Like, honestly, there's enough to go around. And I think that you guys should definitely support all of your guys who cover Alabama football. Please do it. Big channel, small channel that used to work here, whatever, like, support them, please. Lane Kiffin just landed a running back just recently. That's why I think like the tea leaves, and I think the tea leaves have been there for a while, that Alabama football is going to land A.K. Deere. Seems like he's been a Bamaline. I remember him at the recruiting barbecue, and he was like, anything mama wants. So it's all good, and I think it would be a splash commit. I'm not going to lie. Look, people are like, yo, Kyle, you're the hype king. Yeah, it's Bama, man. It's absolutely a splash commit every time somebody does Roll Tide. 100%. Yeah, I love it. All right. Pay me what you owe me. Courtney Morgan. All right. Dude just gets here in January. Man. On the back end of the show, we're going to talk about what success looks for Coach Kalen DeBoer in year one. It was Joel Klatt brought that up, and I was like, damn, that's a good topic. I want to see what the undefeated thinks as well. Courtney Morgan. In the current position that he has, he's the general manager here at Alabama. So that's kind of responsible for director of player personnel. And he was brought here to Alabama under Coach Kalen DeBoer. Look, talk about playing chess. This was a chess move, adding Courtney Morgan, okay? Someone who's, and the first thing that Courtney Morgan was responsible for, he got everybody on the current roster's number and was capable enough to be responsible for the director of personnel on the roster. Now he moves to building up the roster. And you look to the fact that he played at Michigan, 99 to 2003. He was on the staff at Michigan and at Washington, where he held a similar position, helping to build up the roster. He has a deep understanding of the game. Big dude, big presence, big personality. The players gravitate towards him. He helps sell Coach Kalen DeBoer. He's even got an emoji inside the comment box. So if you're a fan funder, you can use the, how about you guys hit the Courtney Morgan emoji inside the comment box. Deep understanding of the game. And somebody, when you talk to kind of like the next level of where recruiting is going, Alabama and Coach Kalen DeBoer, they got something cooking for real. I love the new ideas. You can't stay stagnant, right? Coach Saban is big enough to where his message goes so far. But when you take over, you have to have added elements. You have to keep things fresh. And Coach Kalen DeBoer having Courtney Morgan at his side, and think about all the new energy like Jamarcus Shepard, Mo Lindquist, Kane Womack, Nick Sheridan. These guys are younger, right? Able to adapt to the players more. So, and he came up with Cold Summer. How many times are we saying Cold Summer? And I get it. It's from an old Fabulous song, right? How you going to turn a top dog into an underdog, which I thought was genius. Look at all those emojis of Courtney Morgan inside the comment box. Love it. 178. Can we get 200 thumbs up? That's another goal. And $30 is now our super chat right here on Bama Football on YouTube. David at the beginning with a good solid leadoff. So his contract now, Courtney Morgan, and I think it should be approved at any time by the board. And this was according to Matt Zenitz of 247 CBS Sports, who does an amazing job. He used to actually work here in Tuscaloosa for AL.com. And I remember I used to see him, had interactions with him. And, man, the dude lives in the weight room. And then he moved, I think he moved to Sarasota. And he worked for On3, and now he works for 24/7. Does an amazing job. Has a lot of scoop. He's saying that Courtney Morgan, his new salary will be, I think he was making like over $500,000. Now he's going to be making $825,000 for the next 3 years. That's amazing. And I saw some feedback and be like, well, he's got to win. You know what? I think that you deserve a bonus already, to be honest, for being able to solidify the roster after Coach Saban. That could have went a million different ways. So when you talk about what Coach Kalen DeBoer has already had to deal with, replacing Coach Saban, trying to figure out the roster, dealing with the transfer portal, man, that was a lot. That was heavy. And they had a really good game plan intact to be able to not only keep the players on the roster that they kept, right, but to also enter recruiting. And what are they, number 2 still? They've lost a couple guys, and Alabama's still number 2, right? Which says a lot, because people are like, okay, the Alabama brand is so strong, but now these guys are just kind of layering on top of what Coach Saban already had. Look, it's not just like Alabama's just going to recruit itself. these players had to buy in, and hopefully today you get AK Deer as well. Southern Red, I appreciate you backing me up on that point. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube, 184 up in the house, and I appreciate you guys being here. It feels like it's going to be a really good day for the Alabama Crimson Tide. You have practice today. We'll bring the interviews to the YouTube channel later on in today, and then as news happens regarding AK Deer, when he makes his official announcement and when he does commit, we will go live and we will talk about that with you guys right here on Bama Football on YouTube. So be sure and have those notifications turned on so we can go to you and talk about the news as it happens. And you know, sometimes I do replay. Most of the time I do replay the shows at 12 p.m. So if you can't come in, you know, you can watch it at 12 p.m. Sometimes, depending on the day, I might replay it at night. But I'm also available on Spotify as well. Just type in Bama Football on YouTube and it should pop up, and I appreciate you guys. All right, next topic up in the house. We stay on recruiting. We talk about Ty Jackson. I've brought this up a few times. You know, Coach Saban had a pipeline to Florida. He really did. Coach, yeah, the hat's fire. It really is. I appreciate you, man. This is a golf hat too. Like, you know, man, I haven't been on the links in some time. I need to get out there. I was floating down to like a 10 handicap, 10, 11. I don't know what I play at right now. I played twice this year, twice. All right, and it was in a tournament in Mississippi. Ty Jackson is the #1 rated linebacker in the nation on On3 and on ESPN. I think he's ranked a little bit lower on 24/7. He's a consensus top linebacker. Okay, he's from the state of Florida. I think he was here for the barbecue. I can't remember. The RPM on On3, and again, I'm not sponsored by On3, 24/7 Rivals, none of those sites. I have great appreciation for all of those sites, so go follow them, support their product. I like to use On3. It makes a little bit sense to me, like visually, how they have things laid out. But it has a RPM for Ty Jackson at 25%. Why is this important? Well, he's a top linebacker. Alabama absolutely needs an inside linebacker. You look at who they have right now: Daryl Duke Johnson, Luke Metz, Abdul Sanders. You know, so Coach Kalen DeBoer, if DeBoer doesn't have a pipeline to Florida yet, he has a pipeline to California, right? What do you have? 6 guys committed from the state of California, which is dope. Drop the skincare routine. You glowing? I appreciate it. Well, #1, I have a light ring back here, but my mom, I mean, if you saw my mom, she looks amazing. I think a lot of it is genetics as well. Kane, what's up, man? See you inside the comment box as well. Thanks, bro, for being here. Plus, you know, I work out every day, but, you know, it's I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Steve Whitfong said Jackson is visiting Tennessee at home versus Bama. That's interesting because I thought that I saw yesterday that he's coming to Bama versus Georgia. Either way, Zach, thank you so much for bringing that up, and we'll dive more into that. Did you guys see that as well? DeMarco, what's up, man? I appreciate you being in the house, man. Good to see you. 191 up in the house right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Whatever the case is, whether Ty Jackson comes for Bama, Georgia, which I think who doesn't want to come to that game, right? Or if he goes to Tennessee and Alabama, which would be in Knoxville, you know, I think it provides an opportunity. I hope he comes that first game. And here's why. I think that, you know, you're able to showcase the Bama standard at that high of a level, national stage. I mean, can you imagine? That's going to be the preseason college football Super Bowl, 1,000,000%. Everybody's going to be up in the house, right? Hey, Chris, we don't have a time for AK Deer's announcement. So stay tuned to Bama Football on YouTube. You know, hit the links. I'm sure you guys already follow all, like Hayes Fawcett. You know he's gonna break it on Twitter. I can't wait to see his graphic. His graphics are so good, it's crazy. I love it. Like, he has a gift for those graphics, which is dope. Someone said 6. I don't know. I don't know what time it is. All right, Tuesday. I'm with you. All right. But he said in a recent article, and I think he did it with Joseph Hastings of On3, he said that Bama checks all – no, it was his father that said Bama checks all the boxes. I get it. And you know what is a really good selling point with Ty Jackson, who plays inside linebacker, is the fact within the 4-2-5 defense that these inside linebackers have a lot of flexibility to do what they want, play as athletes. And that's coming from Deontay Lawson, Alabama's signal caller right now. right? He said that under Coach Saban, there was a lot of terminology, a lot on your plate, which is fine. These guys are capable to handle it. But under Kane Womack's system, you can be an inside linebacker and just be that guy, right? We want physical inside linebackers. And you're going to lose 3. So you're going to lose Jahad Campbell, you're going to lose Deontay Lawson, you're going to lose Justin Jefferson. So, but like Sterling Dixon, Caden Jones, Justin Okoronkwo, those guys are next up, and I think they'll be very capable. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Available on Spotify as well. Just type in Bama Football on YouTube. Also on Facebook, X. I don't tweet too often. There's a lot of people who tweet, a lot. So whatever. Follow them, please. And then I got a TikTok as well. Sometimes I post like catchy sound bites on TikTok, but all the coverage comes here to Bama Football on YouTube first, and then it goes out to those other platforms. So I appreciate you guys supporting me in all of that regards. Yeah, and Chris, talking about Luke Metz inside the comment box. He was just offered by Oregon. We talked about that yesterday. He's an inside linebacker out of Georgia. You want guys to be sought after by other marquee programs. That tells you you're recruiting the right guys, number one. And I'm telling you, if Luke Metz hasn't flipped from being in the home state of Georgia to Kirby Smart, I don't think he's going anywhere. He's been so complimentary about Alabama. Hey, Through Hayes, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. 220 up in the house. Let's get what was our goal? 200 thumbs up on this video. And now we're at a goal of $30 in super chats. We're already at 20. So I appreciate you guys being here on Bama Football on YouTube. Cook, what's up, man? Roll Tide to you. We continue on Bama Football on YouTube. So this was interesting. I saw this. So Derrick Smith, who's out of Selma, Alabama, big-time wide receiver, was committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. He recently flipped to Auburn. I saw this on the Black Belt Sports Network. Or it's a Black News Network. Black Belt News Network. There you go. He said that, and he's talking about why he flipped from Alabama. And I want to hit on a point. Another reason he told the Black Belt News Network is I wanted to feel like a priority, Smith added, which is something many heavily recruited players say when committing to a large, successful football program, deep benches of players like Alabama. Look, I think regarding this is an interesting situation because recently Auburn flipped 2 from Alabama, Derrick Smith and Antonio Coleman, right? Coleman kind of flipped back and forth. And clearly, I think, there's money behind it with all of the recruiting right now, right? Jaden Harmon, they're talking about paydays. Same thing with Derrick Smith. I think when you look at a player like Derrick Smith, I really liked him as a wide receiver, but I think they wanted him on the defensive side of the ball. I would just say to guys who are flipping back and forth to not make a decision. Don't make a decision. Don't commit until you really know where you want to go, even before the money is offered. And I'll tell you why. Because like a player like Derrick Smith or a player like Antonio Coleman, I'm telling you, I don't like Auburn. I think they'll be fine this year. They're not even ranked in the top 25. So you don't want to start going like Tennessee. You start comparing who sent out the most NFL draft picks. I mean, my goodness, it's not even close from a developmental standpoint. So I think that, if you're going to start flipping back and forth, like just wait on your decision. And I think Alabama, it seemed like they did make him a priority, right? The in-state guys have been a priority, and I get it. Auburn's, won some in-state battles, but I don't think anything is over until these guys have officially signed. If Alabama is able to beat Georgia in that first game of the season, imagine the momentum on a national stage that Alabama and Coach Kalen DeBoer will have, not only as a team, but recruiting-wise as well. That is going – I can't even imagine the ratings for that first game. All right, so that's on Derrick Smith. All right, did you see this? Mike Gundy, he's the head football coach of – and I kind of segue from the money issue to what Mike Gundy is talking about with his current team. Oklahoma State, they should have a very good team this coming year. And Oklahoma State coach Mike Gundy told players to stop asking for money and NIL deals and focus on football. Mike Gundy has had probably some of the most banging sound bites in college football history. Like, that's the thing. Like, I loved following Coach Saban because his sound bites were golden. Mike Gundy says a lot of catchy sound bites as well. And I can't even imagine being a head football coach at this point in time. And this is probably something that Coach Saban was clearly dealing with in the later part of his career, right? The last 2 years is being coaching, right? I mean, I am a very regimented person. I show the schedule every single day. Like this is my 6:30 to 8 a.m. schedule, and it's literally labeled like a pilot, like A through J. And those are the same things that I do every single time at the exact same point of time, right? Yeah, the hair should be retired as well. I'll take calls for AK Deer's commitment as a celebration. But can you imagine Coach Saban, as regimented as he is, setting time now to discuss with player agents about money during this point in time, like August? Like, man, these coaches have so much on their plate dealing with this, that, the other, and then having to add on, negotiations with players before the players have even played a game. So Mike Gundy was like, focus on football. We will start talking about money when the transfer portal cycle comes back at the end of, December. I love that. I can't look. The game has changed. And the unfortunate thing where we are right now is it's not incentivized in terms of what the players are paid. I think in some cases it is, but not for the younger players. Players who haven't played on the field. It's not. It should be incentivized. And I think eventually it will be. And I think eventually the colleges will be able to directly pay the players. But then does that mean that the players could get fired? Are they like salary employees? What's going to happen? I have no idea. I just think the next 5 years of college football, it's going to be completely different than it is even today. All right, so that was what about other college sports teams you know what I think is going to happen? I think when the university starts to pay players, I think that will make the other sports I think those other sports will become kind of like club sports. For example, I think in the next 3 years, I think the only sports where you'll have as like scholarships will have football, men's basketball, women's basketball, and softball. I mean, as good as basketball was, I mean, they make money, but nothing compared to football. Women's basketball is in the red. Softball is in the red, as good as they are. So I think the other sports will pretty much go away. Swimming, right? Soccer. Tennis, I mean, that's where we're going. All right. I'll go full screen on this. Let's make sure this lines up. Yeah. Okay. This is the week 1 college football lines. Okay. So if you're not used to this, I'll kind of explain how this works. So the minus means that's how much the team is supposed to win by. So this is week 0, week 11. Remember, we have college football coming this weekend, right? Florida State and Georgia Tech play in Dublin, Ireland, actually, which should be a really good game. I mean, Florida State, as you can see, is favored by 11. And then if I put parentheses, that means the total points that is predicted in the game. So, for example, let's walk you through it. All right, Florida State is favored to beat Georgia Tech by 11 points, and the total points in that game is 55. Okay, so let's go through them, and I want to get you some feedback on some of these games, all right? What do you guys think about this Florida State and Georgia Tech game? And then following this quick bite, we'll talk about what does success look for Coach Kalen DeBoer in year 1. All right, so let's go back full screen so you guys can see it. So Florida State, do you think they beat Georgia Tech by more than 11? I would say 2 touchdowns. You think Georgia Tech covers? I don't know. Florida State is always a tough team when you start looking at the dynamics of, the new quarterback taking over, right? DJU, who transferred from, Clemson to Oregon State, and now he's at Florida State, which is wild, right? He's been making cross-country trips. I'll go ahead and take Florida State. Max Tooney's saying they're still hungover, and people sleeping on Georgia Tech. Their coach used to be here at Alabama, right? That's kind of a tough opener. I want to take Florida State. I don't know. Other games that kind of jump out to me, I take that Maryland. I think Coach Loxley opens up really big against UConn. Point total 47.5. I'll take the over on that as well. How about this one? Who are we taking in this one? I think we all would agree that Georgia's going to beat, just head-to-head, no point lines, like they're going to beat Clemson. But by 2 touchdowns, do we feel, let's talk that Georgia-Clemson game in terms of points. Do you think that Georgia beats Clemson by 2 scores? I don't know. You think Clemson covers? I think Clemson covers in that one as well. Yeah, David Grant. Florida State has a couple guys from Alabama. Terrence Ferguson, Roydell Williams, Earl Little Jr. I think Malik Benson got hurt, right, in the springtime, unfortunately. And I think they had another guy go over there as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. You think David is saying, Dave, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. He's saying Clemson shocks Georgia? Man, wouldn't that be wild? Florida State. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Marcus. But I can't think of the fifth player. Oh, Sean Murphy. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Sean Murphy. Thank you. All right, Georgia, Clemson. How about Penn State, West Virginia? I'm not on the Penn State train, but I think they'll probably beat West Virginia by more than that. This one is interesting. The downfall of Florida could go really fast. Miami versus Florida. And as much as I think like that back end of Florida, which is the hardest schedule in all of college football, I could see them actually winning this opener against Miami. Right? Like in-state rivalry game. You know, Billy Napier comes out. Now, the back end is going to be horrible for Florida, but this opener, I could see them actually beating Miami, right? Hey, AK Deer will commit at some point today, the Leo King. And when he does commit, we'll have like a headline that says, you know, that he committed. Let's see. How about this one? Okay, let's talk about these last ones real quick. Alabama favored to beat Western Kentucky by 30 points. You think Alabama beats Western Kentucky by 30 points? And then how about this one? Notre Dame and Texas A&M. On the road, Kyle Field. Henry, we expect AK Deer to announce later on today. Later on today means, I don't know, seems like past 4 p.m. So turn your notifications on. I'll be back live to celebrate the commitment with you guys, but he hasn't committed as of this morning. A lot of points for an opener, minus 30. Easy cover, David Grant saying. And then what about this last one, LSU and USC? You think LSU beats Southern Cal by 6? By a touchdown? Yeah, I appreciate you, Dilio. Thanks for being here, brother. All right. You guys let me know. And like I said, I'll be live again when AK Deer does announce. Okay. And Marcus, if he doesn't commit, I would imagine he commits to Ole Miss. I think it's just between Ole Miss and Bama. All right. How about this one? I want to get some fan interaction. We got 254 up in the house. I appreciate you guys being here. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube, also available on Spotify, Facebook, TikTok, X, but all the coverage comes here right first to Bama Football on YouTube. Hat up top by Chris Mobley. And again, if you want actual player gear, you can go to Athletes Thread and, get like players' official merchandise gear. If you want the Lank gear, you can go to the Soup Store. I might cruise over. I would like a Lank, maybe like a polo or something. I love hoodies, like light hoodies. So maybe I'll see if they have something like that. And if you want like more Tide gear, you can go to Chris Mobley as well. They have basically but their stuff's expensive, right? They have like a Peter Millar kind of hoodie, but it says Tide or like Final Four with the old school Alabama logo. Let me ask, what is it? So Joel Klatt spoke about this yesterday, and I thought it was a really interesting topic. And I wanted to bring it to the Undefeated. You guys are the Undefeated. To become a member of the Undefeated, it's only $2.99. You can hit the top link on this YouTube channel to support the channel. Support me, honestly. $2.99 per month. Or you could super chat. We're at $20. The goal, it has been elevated to $30. Appreciate you guys. So what does success look like? Like, let's talk what's realistic, okay? For Coach Kalen DeBoer. Like a natty, type A, type B for Final Four semis, type C for 10 wins in the playoffs, and type D for 10 wins and like beats the barn and beats Tennessee and LSU too. right? What do you think? What you know what? I think winning a national title is realistic this year. How can it not be with all the talent you have? Look, if I take this little Alabama hat off and put it aside, the only part I'm a little bit worried about is the corners. That's my only concern right now. Just because they're unproven, they don't like Xavier Brown. Oh, by the way, did you see that Xavier Brown and Ryan Williams were preseason All-Americans on On3? That was dope. I don't know. Okay, so let's see. The Baker is saying C, 10 wins playoffs. I'm going with C. Like that's successful, right? You won 10 games, and you made the playoffs. But I am worried about the corners. Now I don't think it's going to limit them from winning 10 games or making a real run at the championship. I just think that's an area of concern. But on the flip side, the offense is going to be so good that, I mean, who's going to be able to stop these guys? Right? You beat your rivalry opponents. You beat Georgia. And it is a tough schedule, man. I agree. The more that I look at Alabama's schedule, it's tough. I always talk about the back end, but I think South Carolina will punch above their weight. I really do. I think that a trip to Wisconsin where Alabama's favored by 10, right? They'll win that game. It'll be tough. Camp Randall's tough. I guarantee you Coach Kalen DeBoer has a ton of respect for Wisconsin. Colin Hitchler was just there. He's a safeties coach. And what's Bama's streak in terms of winning 10 games? Doesn't it go all the way back to like 2008 or something like that? Hey, Mr. Yee, I love that, man. But Max, I love that point. Alabama, when Alabama comes to your house or when you play Alabama, you get like that's your Super Bowl. Because think about like what happened to Texas. That was the worst loss you could have was to Texas because you know what? Even if Texas was to have won the championship last year, it would have been Alabama beating Alabama would be up here and then winning the championship would be here. You'll never hear the end of it for Texas fans until you're dead. They will talk about that win over Alabama for life. That's what was kind of like gut-wrenching about that loss. It's just because you knew for the rest of your life you're going to have to hear about Texas fans talking about that one time they beat Alabama. I think Coach Kalen DeBoer could certainly win a national title this year. A lot of it is because, of Jalen Milroe. A lot of it is because of the depth. This year is going to be a slugfest. It's going to be just like the NFL. Thank you, Lance. That's what I'm saying. That was Texas' first quality win in a decade. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. It's just like Dallas Cowboy fans, right? Same thing. Do we have any Cowboy fans up in the house? Let me guess. It's your guys' year. I want to talk. Look, we'll talk NFL another time. But every year, it's the same thing. We hear it's Dallas Cowboys year. We're hearing it now. But that kicker did hit a field goal from 66 yards. Did you see that in preseason? 66 yards. That was crazy. I know we have some Dolphin fans up in the house. I'm a Niners fan. You know what? It's been so distant. The Niners have been built to win a championship for like the last 4 years. They don't get it done this year. It's not going to happen. Hate to say it, but it's true. Gimmick, what's up? Do I think Jalen wins the Heisman? Man, not even being like fancy and like, saying everything is golden. I do think he wins the Heisman. And I asked, several different questions. You're going to see me roll through a couple slides of players together, with their team. This was from players, like kind of a players dinner. So every single position coach, we talked about this yesterday. I think I even have coming up a photo of, do I have one of Courtney Morgan up in here? This was on Sunday night. The assistant coaches hosted all the players, which is always cool to see. I love it. Like I'm huge on like brotherhood. I'm part of this workout group here in Tuscaloosa with a bunch of guys, and I just get so much out of it. I really do. It's crazy. That's this morning. Excuse me. We ran a quarter mile uphill over 10 times. I think it came out to like 4 miles or something like that. But I love to see the players together with the coaches. So here's kind of a rewind of today. Oh, that Dr. Pepper commercial, I loved it. I love the Fansville. And you know what? I started drinking Dr. Pepper right out. Like when Fansville kind of like came, like what? Like maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. Man, Dr. Pepper hits. Do we like Dr. Pepper inside the comment box? I do. And there was another Dr. Pepper that came out. They had like a couple different flavors that I recently tried. But I saw Quinn was a part of the Dr. Pepper crew. Because Bryce Young, he was part of the Heisman house. And then Devontae Smith, right? Dr. Pepper Cherry. That's what I'm saying. Dr. Pepper is good. And for a long time in my life, I was sleeping on Dr. Pepper. And it hits, right? You know what I like to do? This football season, okay? I like to go to Wingstop, and I like to get the Wingstop and have nice little Dr. Pepper, cream soda, carbonated prune juice. See, that's what a lot of people say. I didn't want to say that, but a lot of people say that Dr. Pepper is like a laxative. Look, I don't know. Big Matt, he's in. See, Dr. Pepper. We got Dr. Pepper fans up at the house. Yeah, Dr. Pepper. You could do Dr. Pepper with like what? Is it? I forget what you mix Dr. Pepper with. Dr. Pepper flavored Blue Bell ice cream. Oh man, Ruben, you're up in here, man. All right, so look, this is a recap of today. AK Deer set to announce at some point in time. I think it's later on in the afternoon. Courtney Morgan inks a new deal, according to Matt Zenitz, 3 years for $825,000, right? Getting absolutely paid. Chris, you're a Cowboy fan. I love you, bro. Ty Jackson will be at one of the Alabama games. I saw that he was going to be at Georgia and Bama. Somebody corrected me, saw that they said he was going to be at Tennessee, Bama. Whatever the case is, you know, he's an active inside linebacker that Alabama certainly is recruiting. Eddie doesn't like Dr. Pepper. All right, Eddie, what you rolling with, Eddie? What's your favorite drink, man? And I don't drink a lot of like soda. What do you call it? I'm not from Alabama, right? But do you guys call it like pop? Or I live here. Clearly, I've lived here. But like in New Mexico, growing up, like a Coke. Like if you walked into my house, I would say, you want a Coke? But the Coke means like a variety of things, right? Then I'd be like, what type? I don't know, it's strange. I'd be like, what type of Coke? Coke could mean like a Sprite, could mean like a Pepsi, right? It's soda, see? Everything is, that's what I'm saying, Lance. Like where I come from, everything is Coke. It is so weird. I'm like, you want a Coke? Yeah, what kind? I don't know. Who says pop? Is that a northern thing? Chris is up in New Jersey. Are you saying pop up there? Southerners say Coke for everything. I know pop. I've never said pop. If someone says pop, it's like, that's a red flag. You want a drink? Yeah, there you go. That's more formal. Soft drinks, Coke. See, Mark? I'm with you, man. All right. Drank. Want a drink? Pop is a Midwestern term. Yes. Okay. Yeah, me too. Yeah. It's same thing in New Mexico. And same thing here. You like want a Coke? What type of Coke? All right. We hit on Derrick Smith. We talked about Mike Gundy's comments as well. And we talked about some opening college football lines. And we talked about what is realistic success for Coach Kalen DeBoer in year one. I appreciate you guys hitting me up. Red flag. Yeah, you know what we got to start doing? Maybe I'll put an emoji for like different things that are like red flags for the undefeated community. All right, so this is what to watch for. All right, so keep your heads on a swivel for an announcement for AK Deer. When he does announce, I will be live. Of course, we'll let him announce that first, and then we'll bring that news to you, immediately. I'll take some calls. you also have Alabama having football practice today. They were off yesterday. Today you're going to hear from the defensive coaches and the defensive players. So we'll bring that to you as well, and I'll package it tonight. Like what I like to do is kind of package the material. So kind of talk about what they were talking about and kind of put everything together, and I'll post that tonight at like 7 p.m. For everybody to watch. So it's just not like an interview uploaded. I'll put some context to it, explaining what people are talking about. I feel you kind of get more out of that rather than just watching like a press conference and just being like, okay, well, what was that? So those are the things that you can expect. It's a busy day on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me today on Bama Football on YouTube. Happy birthday, Mom, out there again. August 20th, it's your birthday. Do your thing. It's your birthday. Go crazy. And I appreciate everybody up in the chat being here right here on Bama Football on YouTube. So, again, AK Deer, commitment today. We'll be live. We will celebrate. If he does commit to Alabama, we will celebrate regardless because we enjoy this beautiful thing called life. We practice gratitude on Bama Football on YouTube because, honestly, like, what other program would you – I can't even – look, no disrespect to, like, other places in the country. But and I get it. People are always making a living covering like different teams. But like, man, if you had to like cover, and I get it, Kentucky has like a good thing going on. But like, if you had to cover like Kentucky football and try to like make believe that they're going to be good this year, like, I mean, covering the Alabama Crimson Tide, you know what I'm saying? Like the standards are to win a championship every single year. So that's what we're going to do, all right? So I appreciate you guys being here right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I hope you appreciate the energy, too. Like, I get energy from you, and I hope you get energy from me, right? Energy creates energy, and I couldn't be asleep doing this, man. I appreciate you guys. Jamal Scott is a Dogs fan, man. And Dogs fan, they have amnesia from the SEC championship game. They forgot. They forgot it happened, all right? So you guys will get another shot on September 28th. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you soon on the replay here at 12, and then as news happens, of course, and of course, AK Deer today. So there's a lot of news to go over, and I love it, and we will talk about it all right here on Bama Football on YouTube. One more time. Hat, Chris Mobley, Players Gear, Athletes Thread, or the Soup Store. Support all of the YouTube channels that cover Alabama football. Support all your recruiting sites. There's so many good people doing great job covering Alabama football. Please support all of them. And, of course, support Coach Kalen DeBoer and the players as we go into 2014. Have gratitude. Be good to people. Call your mom. Tell her you love her. Same thing with your dad. Work on yourself every single day, right? We go forward. We don't go backward. And we're human beings, right? So be easy on yourself. Have fun. Enjoy this beautiful thing called life. And I will catch you as news happens right here from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. One more time. Could I get a roll tide? I'll catch you guys soon right here on